Okay, however, I hope everybody had a good Christmas. It was pretty neat to see how many of those guys were in here yesterday lifting and getting their things in. That's the job they do, and this is the time of the year. And then I got a chance to spend some time with family, and there's quite a few guys in here Christmas Eve too that we're continuing to do the process and then go back and get with the family. But then we got back here together this morning. Everything was good. We understand, the toughness of the game. We understand the opponent, and they were pretty focused, all day long on what we got to get done. And the weather was very cooperative out there. So, again, our field crew here is amazing. Our fields out there, those back fields were outstanding. And we got a lot done because we got to get a chance to go outside today and get on with the plan. Questions?
On Sunday, for instance, Baker and Jarvis were kind of out of sync early on. It just seemed like the offense in general was having a hard time getting it going.
I addressed this the other day, and those are things that will always happen, and when that was asked to me on whether it was Monday or Sunday, I can't remember. But, those are the things you got to fight through, and those are the things, the pace of the practices help. That's why the practice has to be as fast as possible, too, so that you don't have to all of a sudden adjust that much on game day. But I thought they did a really good job of being together with that. And you see the communication that, the players have among themselves. Coaches shouldn't have to babysit everything. You got to be able to do that. And as a player, those are the things, the feel for the game, you're also able to have input on, and we allow that input. We want that input. We encourage that input. So they were pretty good.
I want to ask you how imperative, though, is that this week against this defense?
Always good. Yeah, we got to start fast, and both defenses have been pretty solid here, and especially with them with what they're doing. We need to make sure we're on point, from the opening kickoff on, and that's important because I think you guys have taken a look at how much they have done a really good job. I think John and his staff has done a fantastic job, maybe the best in the league, on what they have to do, to how they manage the games and how few possessions there are in the game, and what they've done to really do a good job with that. And so now every play even becomes more a priority. Yes.
John Harbaugh just taking his brother's playbook from the 49ers?
He hasn't, but, you realize that who the guy there, the run game coordinator is, right? It was Jim's guy. That's Gregg Williams. So, yes, he was at the 49ers. And, yes, there is quite a bit of symmetry there, but even more above and beyond. And I have a lot of respect for those guys. And, Gregg, I've gone against him in several places, and what he's been able to do and how he's adapted, just like we do here, adapt to the skill set of Lamar and what was needed there. But they've been a physical run team, since he was there.
Greg, it seems that your defense isn't living on the takeaways as much as you did earlier in the year.
We've had opportunities, but we just have to finish them. Yeah, we've had balls in our hands. You got to get those.
It's you won last week without a takeaway, and a couple weeks earlier. So what are you doing better?
Well, the biggest thing is that we're, and again, you guys have seen that one statistical crew I've told you about how we play per play, and you guys can go in and analyze and take a look at that, in the Football Outsiders. They understand that too, and how we go about and how good we're playing play by play, no matter what the situation is. And you want to completely, be suffocating. You got to be able to finish it with taking the ball away, and you got to score on defense, and we got to continue to do those type of things.
Greg, would you say that on some opponents your defense concedes rushing yards because that's
No, we don't concede anything at any time. No.
In terms of Baker Mayfield's development, finishing out and closing out the season against the best defense in the NFL, do you think that will give him a very good...
Those are good things, maybe in the postseason evaluate, but we really think about that each and every week, and then you can do all the comparisons and the rankings and all that kind of stuff later on. But we do understand, how good they have been and then how good we have to be. That's important.
We voted Baker Player of the Year for this season. What's it say that a rookie has been able to have this kind of transforming effect that he's had?
I think it's very positive, and I think those are the type of things that your supreme leader is supposed to be able to do. And don't discount that that's not what he's been able to do. For all of his life, at whatever level the young man's played at. So it's good. I didn't know you guys had voted on that, but that's good.
We also So Joel Antonio got the good guy. He's a captain for you. He's, I think, the longest tenured guy. What kind of example does he set?
He's just an example every day, even behind the scenes, outside of his play, somewhat of a calming effect on people being able to talk to somebody that has as much experience as they have. We don't have a ton of experience in the room in there, So he has been a good voice. But the voice is only listened to when the example is set. So he's a captain. So that must have been something, for people to vote that much for him. And then he sets an example every day, how he prepares, how he practices, and how he plays. And that's good.
What do you think your defense has improved in the most from the beginning of the season until now?
Every week becomes a new thing that you have to do because the opponent's new, the skill set of the opponent, the skill set of a space play. But we're still tackling very well. We've had a couple of those games when we didn't. And at this time of the year, sometimes that slacks off with other teams. And, we take that personal. It should not slack off no matter what, whether the pads, you're not wearing as pads as much in practice. We tackle every day. I think our guys have done a very good job with that. We've done a strong job on third down. We've been playing good situational defense all year long. We've had a couple of things where, a play has gotten away from us or we've missed a tackle or two, but they've played solid all year.
Because this is a play to get in game for the Ravens, what are you telling your guys about the intensity level?
Do you say it again?
Because the Ravens have to play to get in.
Yeah, no. That's a good point. And remember this, okay, and I'm going to answer this for the 19th time. When I have to worry about that, the best thing I do is tell people upstairs who doesn't belong, okay? It's time to play, and it doesn't make any difference what game it is. This is how we have to play. This is a division opponent. People say they have more on the line than us. Really? You're interviewing every single day, so don't put something on film. You want an owner to buy stock in that performance, and okay? We got to play, and that's up to those guys too. Us, me, and I helping them with that. But when we have to work extremely hard on motivating somebody at this level, why? Okay, you're getting paid a lot. It's time to play.
What about the intensity of the game?
It's the same thing. Yeah, same thing, and and we're picturing that up. We're talking about it behind the scenes, but they've played hard-nosed games at other levels, and they've played some hard-nosed games this year. I think the fact that how many people have played more overtime snaps than us? Are those less intense? I don't think so. And so what we have to do is now, if there's another gear that you have to ramp it up on, because people talk about finding another gear in these things, it's time to play. And every single time in the National Football League you go out there, you're putting who you are on film and who we are. You have to do that.
Any update on Denzel Ward?
Yeah, he's in concussion protocol, and we'll see. But he has been listed in there, and we're watching it, day by day by day.
Do you anticipate he'd stay on the 53 all the way?
I'm going to get another report on that later on today. I have not gotten that.
How do you slow down Lamar Jackson on those runs that aren't designed, but he scrambles out on the pass plays?
Yeah, they do a very good job, and we played a lot of those kind of scrambling quarterbacks this year anyway, because the league's evolving into that more and more. But he's got another gear. There's similarities between him and Deshaun. He's not as big as Cam and some of the other guys, but he has that elusiveness. That's part of the plan on how we try to negate that as much as possible. And I think the way that they're playing and doing things and coaching the game to his skill set, and not only his, the other players' skill sets there too. They're a really good offensive line. They're a very physical offensive line. And one of the comments that I've made to the guys that start off today was, it reminds me of some of the old days in this league, when it was time, to run the ball. It's time to play the run and understand that the line of scrimmage is going to be challenged at every single snap of the game. We're going to have to do a good job with that. And his elusiveness outside the pocket, we got to make plays in space.
You've seen that Ravens defense once already. So, number one, how does that help him? And number two, what makes that defense so hard for?
I think it does, a little bit of the familiarity, and and some of the best pros I've been around, and I've told this story to back there to him is, when I first started coaching at this level, I had an opportunity to coach a couple of guys that were in their 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th year, and they had their old beat-up spiral notebook that they kept on their own, not what coaches told them, but they're playing against a guy over and over and over again. And they had their own scouting reports back before you had free agency. You had those guys on your team for so long, you know. When you play against somebody, you do have the competition feel of what you do, what you have to do, and that does give you your own personal opinion to possibly be a little bit more refined. So we're going to have to do that, and I just think they're well coached. I think defense has been a big part of that organization for a long time. I think that when you come into that organization, you know that that's going to be that way. Back from way before, even when Ray Lewis and all those years I went against that program back in that same division. Before they switched divisions. That's part of it. And defensively, they've done a very good job of transitioning it from style to style, coordinator to coordinator. And I think Wink's done a very good job with that. I think he's been around some good guys there too, and he's really brought them, up to this status, and they're playing strong for him.
I know you said you would talk to Baker about his on-field behavior if you felt like it was warranted, and you would do so privately. Does he start to walk kind of in a gray area when he starts taunting coaches?
Here, what I would tell you is that even if I did talk to you about it, I wouldn't be answering the question. Okay, and the other thing is that we have to do everything. We live on the edge. We play on the edge. We don't hurt the team. We don't hurt the team. You don't have setbacks. You don't have penalties. You don't do those type of things. And so there's no penalties. There's no flag. And so what I've got to do is that we got to make sure that we are playing football. It is a competition to play football.
About Lamar Jackson passing that is tough to defend?
Is passing? Oh yeah, don't disregard his arm strength. He can throw it a long way too. And then, they do a lot of good jobs in the run game, and especially the play action run game when you're compensating so hard in the run game that all of a sudden he understands how to fake a guy open and get somebody else open, and he's been able to do a good job and improve each week with throwing the route concepts that they're asking him to do. So at this level, it takes a while for anybody to get ready for the speed of the game, and including him, and then us having to get ready for the speed of him. But he's thrown the ball better and better each week.
You say you don't want to get into personal conversations with your quarterback. I get it. But is there anything that as a team you would make a stand about and say publicly that
we talk about things behind the scenes, but there's no public things. That's private, and join the National Football League. Those are things that don't go on outside.
What I'm saying is, don't the people who pay for the tickets deserve to know where you guys?
How do I say no? I've just said no. Right now, that's behind closed doors. Those are the privacies of what goes on at our level. There's things that goes on behind closed doors.
Greg, what's allowed Perriman to make such an impact with you guys?
He works extremely hard, and the practices, and he has gotten the people's confidence around him on how hard he practices and how hard he prepares. That's one good thing. So now he's gotten the confidence in the people to give him a shot in the game, and he produces in the game. So it's not very hard to see, when he has created the confidence, and he's also come in here not having as much time on task with all the people, coming in here with short notice and just worked his tail off. And he works hard at it, and he's produced when he's been given opportunity.